Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. My name is Ashton, and I've been on vacation for a week, so it's been a while. Today is July 24th. It's 11:04 in the morning, and today we are going to talk about the NBA, what has happened in the last couple weeks, and I'm also going to be talking about the Chiefs as well. So today, starting off with the NBA, I'm going to be talking about the Rockets. They, while I was on vacation, and they acquired Russell Westbrook through a trade. They traded Chris Paul to the Rockets. They traded Chris Paul from the Thunder to the Thunder, and Russell Westbrook to the Rockets now, and that and they just basically swapped out players. The Thunder are in a total rebuild now, and that is kind of since Paul George went to the Clippers for the Thunder, and it was time to ship out Russell Westbrook. He was going to go to a contender team. He wanted to go to the Rockets. That was his big target. I knew that Miami was in talks with getting Russell Westbrook, and the Pistons as well were also trying to get Russell Westbrook, but he ended up going to Houston. And right now, everybody's like speculating that they'll have a good on-court chemistry. I'm kind of on the fence because Russell Westbrook, he's a scorer. He's not more of a shooter. So last year he had his worst shooting season of his career, and I don't know if he can. He could. I expect him to improve, but with him and James Harden, they're the two highest usage rating players in the NBA, which means they have the ball in their hands the most, and they are on the court for a very long time. Like, they do not come off the court. They Russell Westbrook is all go 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 go, and James Harden, he's a lot of isolation, and it's just him and the defender, and he does a lot of fancy through the dribble through the leg moves, and it's just he is out of that. He's out of the world. He's best isolation player on the planet. But James Harden and Russell Westbrook being a cohesive unit, I find that hard to believe within myself right now. Though I know that they had a good chemistry in Oklahoma City when they went to the finals with Kevin Durant. And back then, James Harden wasn't the ISO dominant player that he is today. But I think Russell Westbrook, he's gonna have to give up a lot of the ball to James Harden because it's James Harden's team in Houston, and Russell Westbrook, he's gonna have to insert himself in a new way, and I feel like he's gonna have to start making cuts around cutting to the basket, just finding new ways to possibly get open and get the ball and have to shoot it. He's going to have to shoot a high percentage for them to be a really successful team. That's just my thinking, and they are going to be a good defensive team. They definitely got better defensively through this trade. Russell Westbrook, he's one of the league leaders in steals, and when Paul George and Russell Westbrook played together, they were top. They were like top two in the league in steals. So I expect him to be still a top player in the league defensively in steals. So that will be something to watch out for in Houston. They will be a dynamic duo. So here's my top five in dynamic duos around the league. I got LeBron James and Anthony Davis at number one. I got second, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Third, I got Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. Four is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And fifth is, right now, Russell Westbrook and James Harden. I think there are a lot of dynamic duos in the league right now. That's kind of in the NBA. That's kind of what it's based on right now is dynamic duos, and it's it's really I I think the league is it's a lot more spread out now, and it's like more diverse in a lot of ways. And Mike Conley with the Jazz helping out uh, Do- uh, Donovan Mitchell, and that's a dynamic duo there. I mean, there's just a multitude of dynamic duos across the league, and it's really it's really something for the NBA how they're more diverse. It's definitely more competition. Um, and speaking of dynamic duos, I'm gonna transition over to the Chiefs, and they got their dynamic player back in Tyreek Hill. He's all class speed, and he recently. Uh, so the league had been looking into Tyreek Hill. He had been accused of from his ex fiance now that he had abused their child, and he right now the case is still open, but they haven't found any new evidence against him or anything. They didn't find any evidence against him saying that he actually hurt his child in any way, shape, and form. I know that there's some people that don't like how he's back on the team, and some people are against him being in the league at all. And I think he's definitely got a long hill ahead of him. No pun intended, but uh, he's he's got a he cannot find him he cannot keep finding himself in these type of situations where he's abusing a woman or abusing his child. He has to have his head on straight. He has to keep thinking with his head. And I, if he keeps finding himself in these situations, he will definitely get kicked out of the league because it's he's a creature of habit of coming back to these things. Now, I love Tyreek Hill and his all class speed and what he can do for the Chiefs on the field. I'm worried about him off the field for sure because Kareem, I was definitely thinking that he was going to get kicked off the team, um, and we would have lost not not just Kareem Hunt but Tyreek Hill, which are all like they both are super talented, and I I have the Chiefs as the favorites to win the Super Bowl this year because Steve Spagnuolo that's signing in the offseason, I think puts them over the top to definitely win the Super Bowl. They just have to work on scheme and getting the right personnel and defensively. And we got Frank Clark and Tyrann Mathieu, who are all class defensive players. Frank Clark, he's a great pass rusher, and Tyrann Mathieu, he'll be the leader of the defense. He's a safety. He'll if you are curious to know who Tyrann Mathieu is, he was in Houston last year. He for the Texans, and he led that defense. Now the Houston didn't really go anywhere. They were a pretty sound defensive team, and I think Tyrann Mathieu can bring that philosophy over from Houston over to Kansas City and still be a really great leader. I think the Chiefs will be top. I Now I'm maybe pushing my buttons here, but I say top 15 defense in the league. Um, that's what I see them being. Um, but then yet again, the Chiefs somehow always let the Chiefs fans down and always have one. It seems like we have either a really good offense or a really crappy defense or a really good defense and a really crappy offense. I mean, there just never seems to be a balance between the two. Ever since I've been a Chiefs fan, just from all the years I've watched, it's one or the other. And this year, I think there can actually be a balance between the two. and talent has a lot to do with that. I am still concerned about the corners for the Chiefs. I know Kendall Fuller is he's a pretty decent cornerback. He's not best, um, and it's guys like him that are going to get picked apart all day long. I mean, they didn't really make a whole lot of free agent acquisitions in the corner department, and it's kind of concerning. But I think it will be there's only growth from here. I think Charvarius Ward, he was a good corner coming in. He just needed some experience. He got torched in the Seattle game last year. I remember that. He was on who was uh there Seattle's best wide receiver was uh I can't remember. Doug Baldwin. What he's not with Seattle anymore, but he was torching Charvarius Ward all day long, and it was hard to watch. But you knew from that game on, he started getting more comfortable as he was going on because he knew what he was doing wrong and what he could do better, and he actually he caught the it would have been the game-ending interception against Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game, but because of D Ford being offsides in the neutral zone, he it didn't the play didn't matter, and so the Patriots ended up winning that game and went on to win the Super Bowl, which was the most boring Super Bowl of all time. Uh, it was not a whole lot of action. If you were a defensive minded guy and you loved watching defensive stops, and that was definitely the Super Bowl for you. But for the casual fan that liked watching 30 to 40 plus point type of games, we didn't get that at all. We got like a 13-3 type of game, something like that. It was a really low score, and but I think the Patriots are going to be really good this year again. I mean, you can never count them out with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. As long as they have those two pillars there, and they always have a chance to compete for uh, Lombardi Trophy. So right now, I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to set the world on fire. He has a 90 overall in Madden. I lost my mind when I saw that. I was like, what is Madden? What are these Madden ratings player like guys doing? Like he's going to set the world on fire, but because that's all the motivation that he needs. People don't remember, like people like look at his stats and go like, "Oh, this guy didn't really like live up to Aaron Rodgers." You guys got to remember he was on one leg to start off the season. He like hurt his leg in like the first like two games of the season. So he was kind of on one leg throughout the majority of the season, and then he finally got both of his legs underneath him, and then he started performing. But he's and I've heard a whole lot of analysts say he doesn't really pick his players up. Well, I definitely expect him to do that this time around this year. And I know that the Packers defense has been improving a lot in the offseason, and they are going to be a pretty good team. Aaron Rodgers is the entire offense. He makes everything tick. So all he needs to see is, oh, people think that I've lost my touch, and I will remind you of who I am. And I think LeBron James will do that too this year. He will, because everybody is making this who's the best in the world argument in the NBA, and they are like, Kawhi Leonard is the best, Kevin Durant's the best. LeBron James is the best player in the world. He will remind us of that this upcoming season. So back to the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is going to shatter like he's going to remind us all of who the best quarterback in the NFL is, and talent-wise, that is. And people like Patrick Mahomes, I love the guy. I'm gonna go buy Madden 20 because he's the cover of it, and I'm probably gonna love it and kiss it, like kiss the cover. I don't care that I said that, but and you can judge me however you want. I love Patrick Mahomes. I love the dude to death, but I think Aaron Rodgers is just another tier above Patrick Mahomes, and I think that Aaron Rodgers is like he's got all the motivation in the world. He sees that everybody's doubting him, and he's like, "Why? Like, you're just." And he's got a new offensive coordinator now. The offense is probably gonna struggle a little bit out of the gate because he's got a new offensive coordinator and head coach. So, because McCartney got fired, so the offense will probably be struggling just a little bit, but I see Aaron Rodgers clicking on all cylinders throughout the year, and that offense can only improve. They were, I believe, the 32nd ranked offense in the National Football League, with Aaron Rodgers leading the way on one leg. So it can only improve from there. It will be, they will be fine. I don't expect the Packers to be that bad again on the offensive side of the ball. And guys, thank you for listening to my podcast today. I really enjoyed it. If you have any responses or comments or questions, leave them at the bottom of the link. And thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day.